Hey there, Steve Hopkins, head coach of Jordan River Group, and sitting here taking a break, wanting to kind of wrap my day up. And it seems kind of fitting. I don't like to use the word quit when I'm talking about my workday, but quietly quitting is kind of the theme that we've been riding on here in this program, this module. And so this could be the last episode, probably be a little bit shorter than the other ones. And I'm going to sit down for it as I get ready to wrap my day up here on this week in autumn here in Michigan. And hopefully you've enjoyed this. Hopefully you found some tips have been helpful. But we've kind of covered a few different things in the intro video, and then we talked a little bit about fostering employees' voice and offering high quality work. And so today we're going to just talk and spend a few minutes about recognition and respect. All right, recognition and respect, especially in lieu of the changes that have gone on. Right. I don't know about you, but if you've had to modify the way you communicate, the way you think about your team, the way you've been challenged to still get work done, that's exactly right. And things have changed for them and for you. And that means even the way that we show respect and recognition has changed. So if we haven't thought about that, we may be operating in the same kind of system of acknowledgement, the same system of respect, the same system of recognition from 3 or 4 years ago, thinking it means the same, it shows up the same way now. And I'm not saying that it is different for you, but I'm inviting you to really examine, because my research and all my anecdotal work that I've done with teams in the past couple of years has shown that people are not feeling the same level of respect and recognition now, even though some of the systems are the same in place. Right. And so when I did a deep dive into that and did a little bit of research, did a little bit of reading, I'm going to share with you some of the things that I discovered about the difference between before and now, and might present some opportunities for you to think about. All right. And remember, we want to first just think that we can acknowledge the fact that, recognition and respect are really important. Okay. I spend quite a bit of time helping teams realize that we take this for granted. We think people get it, they understand we care, but we don't really show it. And so it becomes job one for supervisors to come up with a way to communicate value and respect and recognition for our team members. Right? No one else is doing it for you. Corporate office is not doing it for you. So when we talk about recognition and that sort of thing, it's your job to kind of put some effort into that. Okay, but what I would say is, um, you know, before we had a lot more time, we had a lot more resources, probably creativity, and just all kinds of things were at our disposal to accomplish this task, right? And I think the biggest change that I've seen happen is that everything has become very task centric, right? Our time is short. Sometimes our in-person time is just a fraction of what we used to have, and so all of our communication, all of our contact is very transactional, right? Very much focused on the task. This is the task. How you doing with the task? Is the task done? That takes up all of our time, right? We don't have water cooler time. We don't have care for your personal life time. We don't have check-in time. We aren't even getting regular conversations in on a monthly basis, right? So many people have reported to me that they haven't really had a conversation longer than 1 or 2 minutes with their supervisor in 3, 4, 5 months. If that's the case, then we certainly are very challenged with ways to show recognition, ways to show value, ways to show respect um, for each other. Okay, so I want to just talk, how do you hack this, right? I'm not professing that we can change our ecosystems or our time or resources that we have. We're still fighting through a lot of things. I would say this might be overdue, though. Let's not use the COVID excuse forever. Let's just say this just opens the door for us in a very, very catalyzing way that this needs to be tended to. And maybe a couple of years ago, this was brewing even before COVID, that maybe there was a little bit of assumption that was in play and kind of caught us off guard as this as well. But I think, first of all, is just the creative ways to use time. Okay, using time that you can pack a lot into short connections, right? And you can just run simple experiments. Something as simple as, um, hello, how are you? Passing in the hallway can be done, in 7, 8 seconds. And the reality is, you can say, hello, how are you? And just kind of keep walking on, or you can, pause and look somebody in the eye and say, hello, how are you? I'm really interested in hearing. And making that exchange totally different, recognizing them, conveying that they're valuable and that you're interested in actually having a conversation for a second. All right. I think the other thing on the flip side is they're busy just like you're busy, right? And so we don't want to waste time. We don't want to do things that are pointless. Protect their time as well, and maybe that means scheduling something for 5 minutes. Like we used to think back in the day, nothing went on our calendars that was less than 30 minutes. And most of the time, people were blocking time in events in 45 or 60-minute increments. I see a lot more of 10 or 15-minute time blockings now. And I think it's brilliant, to be honest with you. You can end up with so much on there, and however you decide to calendar, whether it's on paper or electronically. But the reality is, if you don't schedule it, it may not get done. And it's okay to schedule something for 10 minutes. All right. And they're probably running too. So if you can show that, like, hey, I like 10 minutes, and you keep it to 8, that gives them confidence that the next time you ask for 8 minutes in something important, you probably are serious about that, right? And you're not going to make 10 minutes go to 30 minutes and abuse their time in an unplanned way. All right. So, ways to show respect in the time bucket, I think there's a lot of creativity there. Okay. Short comments, short pieces in the middle of a meeting. All right. So you can multitask sometime. We're here to meet, blah, 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 we have an agenda. And by the way, I want to slip in just a point of recognition for something that happened last week, and I haven't been able to really draw attention to it. I mean, use your time in multiple ways, all right? And along that line, one of the strongest things I can do, I think, in times like this, is using validation. All right. So validation is just when we produce agreement with something we observe, right? Something we hear. Sometimes we use validation when we're talking about delegation or clarity, right? I heard this. Is that what I really heard? Yes, yes, yes. Well, we can validate in other ways just by acknowledging things that we see, right? And this is where I'm validating your effort yesterday. I'm validating your attitude I saw on display, right? We're acknowledging it, but we're validating it by also agreeing that it was great, it was well done. And so, use of your decisions you made, what I saw in action, that's easier than having a problem-solving, big ordeal conversation. It's just validate. Hey, I just want to say what I saw yesterday really was awesome, and way to go, keep going. All right. It could be a success. It could be how they handled a difficult situation. It could even be just their consistency with something that is challenging for them. All right. Nothing spectacular except consistency. All right. That's worth it. Right. That's noteworthy. And so we want to point that out. So validating things that you see is awesome. And again, probably the third thing I'd say is kind of this thought around visibility. All right, creating moments where people can see each other, quick gatherings, quick meeting invites, adding one person that's not usually there, giving them a little bit of visibility and time and space. Anything you can do to kind of shine a spotlight or bring somebody into the spotlight for fleeting moments. This is not a big deal. All right, small things mean 10x now compared to what they meant before. All right, and we just want to choose these moments wisely as we look around and try to encourage people that might be slipping back, might be disengaging a little bit, not having that feeling that I'm valued, not feeling anybody else sees me. So why should I try to continue to press forward? We got to be the ones to say, hey, I'm coming up with creative ways to show value, respect, and recognition in these trying times. And you're going to feel that from me. You're going to see it. And I do appreciate you and see you. So hopefully these all have been helpful. Anything along this line, obviously we're using the phrase quiet quitting. It's a fancy phrase now, but hey, this is pertinent before, during, and after all this trauma and all this crisis. We need to be coming up with creative ways to push back at the people that are feeling a reason to disengage at all, right? We brought talented people, diverse people into our company we should be in the business of unleashing and inspiring as opposed to allowing them to sink back and disengage and quietly quit just because of some of these things we've talked about in this series. Hopefully it's been helpful. Leave your comments. Start a dialogue here on this channel with other peers that are here and just talk about this topic, the things that are working for you, challenges that you're having, things you've tried that haven't worked. Let's have a great conversation here as we all try to get all of our teams to give a maximal effort, inspired in their passion space to help us serve in the places that we've created for them. Thanks so much for your time, and I look forward to seeing you as we go forward.